Hi guys, today we have special guest for insurance, and I know a lot of questions regarding what's going on with insurance in Florida. It's raised, if it's possible to get it. So I would like to give you professional advices, which is I love almost always to give professional and response to all your questions from people who is involved in this business, not somebody told me, somebody hear me. And again, we're gonna talk about insurance business, which is in Florida, and we have special guest Vitale. We know each other almost over 10 years. We're making business together. He's one of the good partners for my business, which is real estate, as you know. And you're getting nervous when you have a mortgage. And this is a guy who wanna help you to get the best and fastest insurance before your closing. Yeah. So, Vitale, what's going on with insurance on our market, if it's possible?
It's absolutely possible. There's still quite a few companies in Florida that provide, especially in our area, that provide coverage. Prices, unfortunately, not as low as they used to be because of a lot of companies left Florida for many different reasons. But there are still companies who insure everything, all the properties, and it's still possible to get the coverage, and it's still possible to get insured.
Mm-hmm. And so it means if somebody planning to buy with a mortgage, it's not gonna, because people scared, from rates, from insurance, everybody frozen for time period of time. I don't know what they're waiting for, but insurance is one of the expenses which is people need to put on MF.
Absolutely, yes. Insurance, first of all. Second of all, most of the time insurance when you're getting a mortgage goes from escrow. You've been taking money during the year a little bit in little portions, you're not going to even feel it. Second of all, when you're talking about the mortgage, it's very, very important to be prepared, meaning that if you're thinking to get a mortgage, if you already have a mortgage broker lined up for the particular property that you want to get, it's a very good idea for you to introduce me to that mortgage broker, and I will work with that mortgage broker directly to figure out what the insurance requirements for the specific bank, all the documents that I need, and all the documents they need from me. So by the time the closing comes, you are completely ready, you're insured, you have all the proper paperwork, and you're not worrying and I'm closing tomorrow and I have the coverage, or I'm closing tomorrow, my coverage is so high that I don't even know how to pay it. So it's very important to start work on it
before closing. How many days you think you need to get the best possible quote to shop around? For example, closing in 2 weeks.
As soon as you know when your closing is. As I said, as soon as you start working with the mortgage broker and you're getting approved for the loan, as soon as that happens,
it means, guys, you need to start procedure of the process of the insurance as soon as you're gonna have loan commitment.
Yes,
as soon as you in a deal, you cannot get from out the deal if you got commitment. So guys, and you have like 10 days to get insurance before closing.
I can get insurance pretty fast. So as I said, as soon as you get approved, it's a very good idea for me to start working with a mortgage broker. And I really don't even need you at this point because whatever information, I'm only going to present you a quote and tell you, okay, so here is the bank, what bank requires, here's a quote, this is how much it costs, this is the best possible deal, or we can go cheaper here, cheaper there. There are some things that bank really don't care about. Some things they do. We can, chisel the policy the way to satisfy the bank and at the same time make sure that you're not overpaying.
And people who doesn't have a mortgage, do they need to purchase insurance?
Yes, it's Why? Absolutely. First of all, you're purchasing peace of mind in terms of that you are protected from unseen circumstances that may be not even caused by you. It could be weather related, it could be a neighbor that could cause damage or to your apartment, could be leaking pipe, could be many different things. Liability coverage also very important.
But some people say, I paid cash, I don't care. Is it smart or it's wrong?
No, it's not smart. Once again, depends how much cash you got, right? So if you really don't care about this investment, if you really don't care about money that you invested, then yeah, you can go without it. But the idea that I'm going to go upstairs and tell the guy who flooded my apartment that, pay for it, not going to work. So hopefully you both have coverages.
It's not his responsibility to pay you repairs?
No. It's insurance companies who's going to decide who's going to pay what. You shouldn't be involved in this decision or that process at all.
So it means in condo or single family, it's still your insurance, personal insurance, going to deal with other personal insurance if something happens.
Single family, when you're talking about houses, it's even more risk.
Because of the driveways, because of
a lot of things. Fire is very
dangerous.
Good risk because it's a single family house. In building, it's not as common, I would say. single-family houses is common. Wind protection from the hurricanes, flood, it's all very common things that could happen to your property, and if you're not properly insured, it could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you can lose the property completely.
I agree with you. And regarding renters insurance, a lot of people complaining. I mean, I work, like you know, a lot of with the property management. I'm telling to tenants, guys, you have to have insurance. How much it can cost them to be protected?
Tenants insurance very cheap. Everybody who buys the property as an investment property and planning to rent it out, no matter what, it's Airbnb or long-term rentals, they have to require their tenants to buy renters insurance, which will protect the landlord from a lot of different things, but also doesn't cost a lot. It costs, I don't know, $150 a year.
That's it.
$200 a year.
And it's going to cover personal stuff of tenant.
It's going to cover personal stuff of tenant, not personal stuff of landlord, but
Not
personal
personal
stuff of tenant. Any liability claims, any other claims that might arise from the tenant doing something or damaging something in the apartment.
Damaging owner's apartment.
Owner's apartment, yes.
So it's still his insurance can cover.
His insurance can cover, yes, could be claimed, and liability claims is a very real concern.
Our advice is, if you're landlord and you have rental property, you have to demand from your renters, from your tenant, to have insurance.
Yeah, it should be part of a lease. It should be
I
part
always
of a lease.
put, sometimes I'm working with other agencies. I'm telling guys, I want to have rental insurance from your client. No, why are you asking? Because I want to be covered.
Yes, it
Because
should be part of a lease.
Something happened, I'm going to have problems, and I need to work, and instead an owner to resolve
In this
all these
case,
problems.
the more layers of insurance you have as a landlord, right? You have yours, then you have your tenant, then you have the association. So the more layers you have, the more protected you are, right? So, and it really doesn't cost a lot of money, but it gives you peace of mind.
Question: if it's property vacant, if somebody does renovation, do I need insurance?
Yes, that is a very, very good question. If the property is vacant and you're doing renovation, you need to buy builder's risk coverage.
Really?
Yes, and the builder's risk coverage, that's exactly that. So it covers the property while it's renovating, giving that the person who does the renovation, which is contractor, have their own insurance as well. And the requirements for builder's risk coverages for contractor to have the
For GC to have his own insurance.
Contractor, not GC.
Contractor, okay.
Not GC. Have their own coverages, right? So it's very important, but it has to be builder's risk, because you cannot have, once again, if you're talking about some minor things, right?
I'm talking about big
change the
renovation.
door. But if you're talking about the big
full renovation, you're replacing
if
floor
you
and
do a
ceiling.
full renovation to your property, right? It's very important not to rely on your home coverage to cover something that happens during that renovation. Even if you have home coverage, it's very good idea to open a second policy, which is builder's risk policy, during the renovation period, that will completely cover you of anything that happens during renovation. Because most likely, if you're going to do huge renovation and something happens, your home policy will not cover anything.
Good answer.
So it's very, very important. We're talking about apartments. We're talking about some people buying a house, for example, and before they're moving in, they want to completely redo everything inside. So for that period of time, you're buying a builder's risk. Even if you're taking a mortgage, the builder's risk would satisfy mortgage requirements, and then you can take a regular insurance policy.
After you're done.
Right, or in conjunction with both, but once again, we are talking to the bank, and everything could be negotiated and worked out.
For vacant lot, do I need insurance? Nothing exists. No structural, no nothing.
Technically, yes, you really need it. If there is nothing there, just a land.
But you have sidewalk, you have land,
Depends where it is, right? So if you're talking about very remote, some locations, I wouldn't suggest it. If it's in area, then it's not so remote and there is any possibility of somebody going to that land and there is some hazard there that could cause somebody injury or death, then yes. I honestly don't think it's necessary.
But if you want to sleep good, better
but
to do
if you want to, once again, it doesn't cost a lot. Does not cost a lot at all.
And my question is important.
By the way, there is also, sorry to interrupt you, there is also insurance for the vacant property as well, right? So if there is a property but nobody lives there at all, right? And there is no renovation going on, just an empty property. Doesn't matter, personal property, business property, doesn't matter. If it's empty, there is also insurance to cover that property while it's empty.
If it's second home, and nobody Is it vacant property or just second home?
No, it's second home.
No,
It's
for example,
second
a lot of people they're living, for example, in New York. They
Right.
have apartments
Right.
here,
When you
and it's
buy
vacant.
when you buy an insurance, you specify to the insurance that is a second residence. It's not primary.
Okay.
Right. So there is certain criteria needs to be met for the residence to be primary. If it's a secondary, then insurance company knows that it's a secondary residence, and if something happens during when you're not there, they cover it because they know.
And if it's Airbnb property,
If it's Airbnb property, there is insurances and companies that will cover you for that. It might cost a little bit more money, but there are companies doing that, and considering Airbnb is very popular, especially
yeah,
in our
now
area.
in Florida, yes.
Right. So there's companies
Everyone
that,
want to be businessman here.
right. So
with Airbnb.
yes, there's the companies that will cover that, and there's the companies that will give you insurance. Not an issue as well. Before it was, not anymore.
In case of renovation, people hire people to make them renovation for bathrooms, to replace kitchens, everything. What kind of requirements as homeowner you have to ask person who does for you the repairs?
Before you hire somebody to do any kind of renovation in your apartment, if you're talking about especially big jobs like kitchens, like bathrooms, like tiling, those kind of things.
People trying to save money. They're trying to hire handyman to make the work of the GC. What conflict could be?
If the person does not have proper coverage for the work he performs and there is a loss because of that, for example, somebody will install the kitchen, which I actually had in New York. Somebody will install the kitchen, and in a week the kitchen fell on the owner's head, causing injuries and huge claim. And that person, even though he was insured, but his insurance did not cover kitchen installation. He was insured as the tiling person, and the kitchen installation was not there. So the insurance company obviously denied the claim, and the owner goes, the lawyers, they going for the owner of the company.
Because insurance didn't pay nothing.
No, insurance was not, you wasn't
So
insured
those
for that.
person, you have to check what kind of insurance the person have and what
Absolutely.
specific jobs
They're doing usually
they can make it.
Usually in most cases in New York, they say that if you provide a certificate, you should specify in the certificate of insurance what is that contractor insured for, right? So
If it's
so
tile
when
guy,
you hire-
he can do tile. If it's
Right.
kitchen guy,
So usually remodeling contractors, they have multiple classifications: tiling, flooring, carpentry, which kitchen installation go under this category, and they usually have like bunch of classes in there that will cover remodeling contracts. But it's very important to have that.
if person hire GC has responsibility for all subs, or it's a responsibility to check each sub with his personal insurance.
If the person hires this GC will give that person certificate of insurance, but GC would be responsible to make sure that every sub that he hires has a proper coverage.
Okay.
It's not responsibility of the owner to check that. However, might not be a bad idea
To check.
but it's GC responsibility to do that. So the contract that person signs is with GC, not each individual contractor.
But
that
in
GC
Florida, GC and contractor is two different animals,
GC
They'll
and
use
contractor
it-
is always two different animals, not only in Florida.
Like they pay to GC for licensing and for the insurance, and somebody else does the job.
Yeah, listen, unfortunately,
For
in
insurance,
Florida,
is it legal?
it's
Not legal?
not legal at all.
Not legal.
No. GC is GC. GC is the person who does not perform any work. GC is general contractor who
For this specific
acts
work.
as a manager of hiring different subs to perform that specific project. GC has the coverage. GC is responsible for checking the coverages for each contractor that they hire with the certain requirements that they have. It's completely his responsibility. Once again, the contract between the owner and GC, which should be hopefully reviewed by the lawyer.
But people trying to save money, you know how it works.
I know. Listen,
Everyone,
you're taking a certain risk, and you need to be aware of that risk that you take.
But you have to be smart. You have to check all the insurance, which is people working for you, and to get some coverage, understanding what people have.
Absolutely. There's a lot of good people, a lot of very honest people, a lot of people who work without the insurance who do their job very, very good, very nice. They have long relationship with GCs and long relationship and a lot of references, and they are. But then again, something could happen out of the blue, even if the greatest contractors in the world. The construction is a very,
Yeah, for example,
low
you're
potential
you're
business.
replacing water heater in case something wrong, and it did damage, you have coverage.
Yes.
A lot of people, they don't understand permits and insurance is not for fun. It's just
No,
to
it's
cover.
not. It's protect you
to
as
protect
the
the
homeowner
homeowners.
from a lot of different things, because if you do not provide, and if you did not tell association that you have renovation, and you kind of trying to do everything back door, and you didn't tell them anything, and then something happens, and you're gonna cause significant damage to the building or to people around you, they're gonna sue you.
And you can lose a property.
You're gonna lose. You might lose more than the property.
More than property. Guys, I hope it was very useful for you to get the idea if you need insurance, if you have questions specific for your case. We're glad to share contact of Vitale, and I'm sure insurance you have to have. I mean, you're working, you homeowner, you renters. I hope it was useful, and put your comments. Thank you for watching, and see you next consultation.